Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic: what's an experience you don't ever want to go through again? Diarrhea on a train. Diarrhea on a plane. I have had it with this motherfucking diarrhea on this motherfucking plane. Being stuck in a traffic jam for 7 hours. And when I say stuck, I literally mean it. We didn't move at all for hours. People got out of their car and started to walk around the highway and stuff and literally picked on the asphalt. Some kids even started playing soccer on the emergency lane. We were stuck in a barely moving traffic jam from 9:30 p.m. to 12:30 p.m., that's 15 hours. On our way to the first Boru festival. Traffic would move literally 6 inches every hour or so. So fucking frustrating. Fortunately we had plenty of food and water. Many people were stuck on the interstate on their way to Florida or wherever, so a lot of us wandered the road passing out bottled water, granola bars, anything. One group even set up a grill and fed the older people stuck in traffic. Fucking nightmare, and I'll never return. I went in 07 and it was crowded enough, and I'm pretty sure it's grown substantially since then. The biggest advantage of Lola, ACL, or Voodoo is that they are in big enough cities that the festival doesn't just overwhelm the host city. I'm not as big on festivals in general anymore because a lot of them now sport virtually identical Live Nation lineups instead of each having its own unique flair, but I'd definitely go to one in a larger host city the next time I attend. Did you know that the longest traffic jam in the world was said to occur as long as 12 days? This would be the China-Tibet Highway. I imagine that is the ultimate punishment. Edit, I meant to say longest car traffic jam in history. DO. 12 what, WTF. Uterine lining biopsy. No anesthesia. It is okay to scream, we understand. I had this too. The doctor said it would be a bit of a pinching feeling. It was agony and felt like I was being stabbed internally. I had my doctor tell me it would hurt no more than a pap smear. Dude was a liar. I went in thinking, oh, no big deal. Won't hurt much, and boy was I wrong. Something I hope to never experience again. Last year my doctor suspected I had some blockage in one of my fallopian tubes. I left work on a lunch break for a quick check. They discovered that one of them was 100% blocked and they blew out the blockage right then with no anesthesia or warning. Then I had to go back to work. Probably the most painful thing I've ever experienced. Around the same time, I also had a biopsy of my cervix with no anesthesia. I've concluded that anything asexual that involves my reproductive system is going to be absolute hell. Gee, you poor gal. That is terrible. You know, they actually have anesthesia they can use. I learned this. Insist on it. Don't let them torture us. Having my house flood. Especially when it's a natural disaster, because there isn't enough labor. 3 years later and we still have bits and pieces unfinished. I feel you. 1 year post Hurricane Florence here. Business was flooded and we are still not back in there. No flood insurance at the time, so I spent the first 6 months after the storm just trying to find a way to finance repairs to the building. There are still people in the community sleeping on family members' couches. Hoping everything continues to come together for you and your loved ones. The resident came in and took a chair. Asked if I wanted my parents to leave the room for the conversation. I said it was fine that they stay. She then told me my 2.5-year-old had leukemia. I wouldn't wish the last year on anyone. Fuck childhood cancer. Edit, wow, this really took off while I was out trick-or-treating. Thank you for the awards, concern and well wishes. He is in remission and doing well, though he still has another 2.5 years of treatment ahead of him before he rings the bell. His protocol is long. He's pretty traumatized from all the shit he went through, which has been pretty hard, but we're working on it, and to be fair, we're pretty traumatized too. He's scared of change and strangers and needs a lot more hugs than he did before, but he's still a little badass. Here he is ready to head out trick-or-treating. https://imga.com/dtygnkl. I'm so sorry you and your little one are going through this. Sending hugs and positive vibes your way, my friend. Getting a call that my son had gotten hit by a car and was en route to trauma center. Fuck that day. My wife and 2 of my kids were in a car accident when I was at work a few years ago. Some stupid young bitch decided red meant go, and getting to the hospital with all those thoughts about them being badly hurt or worse running through my head was horrific. Luckily though they were all fine physically, bit of whiplash at sea, but my daughter still remembers it and will bring it up sometimes. People need to start respecting cars more, they are speeding death machines. That stupid bitch almost destroyed everything I hold dear because she needed to get somewhere so important that she almost killed 4 people. Yes, exactly. I am glad they are all okay. My friend's husband was killed a wreck because of a texting teenaged girl. Their 11-year-old son broke his wrist and watched his father fucking die. The poor kid. You never get over that. Edit, typo. Kidney stone. Yes. God yes. Awful stupid things. And I know people who have awful diets that consist of just chugging pop all the time or that sort of habits, and they never get them. I drink water like a damn ocean creature all the time and I still get them. And once you've had them one time you know the pain of them, and if you ever even have a twinge of pain again that signals they are coming back, you go into total paranoia state. I've never chugged water, cut out all the salt and other tips like that so fast in my life until I felt that kidney stone movement again out of the blue. And I'm a chick, it's even shittier for men. My sympathies for guys, because if they were hell for me I can't imagine what it's like for someone with a penis to pass those damn things. Mine fortunately was small enough that once it made it to my bladder I didn't have any more pain. The movement from my kidney to my bladder was the worst pain I've ever felt though, until I got some Percocet. I've heard from women that they found them more painful than giving birth. Not sure if you can speak to that or not. I have no idea why this isn't higher. It's common and hurts like hell. You need strong painkillers to even dull the pain a little, and without them you feel like you're dying. Until I had kidney stones, I never understood the whole throwing up from pain thing. Waking up to my mother screaming and crying after finding out my oldest sister had passed away from internal bleeding and complications with her liver. All I heard as soon as I woke up were the howling cries of my mom. I thought it hurt to see her cry, but when she cried like this, I lost it internally. I heard similar cries from my mom on the day that her dad died. It's been 10 years almost to the day and I can still hear her screaming in my head. I resonate with your comment. My mum and dad had flown to the city. My grandpa, mom's dad, lived in to be at his bedside when he was taken into hospital. He was 91, so everyone was kind of holding their breath, waiting to see if he would pull through. I happened to call my mum to check up on how things were going just as they had been told by the hospital to come right away. So she said they were getting a taxi and she would call me back later. We quickly ended the call and I felt so unsettled that I couldn't sit back down after we hung up. I just walked around my house, waiting. When she called back I picked up, said hello, and the first thing out of her mouth between crying was just "he's gone." After that phone call ended I immediately just burst into tears. The pain I could hear in her voice was so visceral. Even though we all knew he logically couldn't have much longer to live, he was apparently still cheery while in hospital, cracking jokes with the staff and such. They had told him the day before this that he might even be able to go home in a few days. But he was kind of cycling between being in extreme pain and then lucidity at the end. So I think it felt like even more of a shock when he did finally pass away, because he seemed like his normal self even so close to the end. Staying with and hearing my grandma cry and call out for my grandpa in her sleep in the days after he passed truly broke my heart into a million tiny pieces. Edit, thank you, kind stranger. I took my grandpa's death relatively well, in his 80s, fully functional, died in hospital after a week's stay. I think he even kinda knew last time I saw him. But when I saw my grandma, it broke me. In 2 days, she literally aged 20 years, I couldn't believe it if I had seen it with my eyes. Not again, please. My paternal grandmother is currently dying at the age of 103. Said my last goodbye yesterday and it broke my heart seeing a once vibrant, feisty Sicilian lady asleep in the hospital bed, so thin and so old. But at least she's comfortable and not in any distress, and she is surrounded by loving family. When my maternal Gma was dying, I kissed her goodbye one last time and she gave me 4 or 5 quick kisses just like she always used to when I was a little kid, and I left the hospital an absolute sobbing mess. My grandpa died 21 months later. He quit smoking at age 50, but 22 years later he was diagnosed with lung cancer. He was absolutely heartbroken when the love of his life passed away, and I wonder if that contributed to him getting sick. I'm sorry about your grandmother, BTW. It's never easy to have to see that. My house burning to the ground. Losing the only place I've ever called home. Losing all my belongings. Losing everything. But that wasn't what hit me the most. What hit me the most was standing there watching my house fully engulfed in flames. And knowing there is absolutely fucking nothing I could do to help. That was the worst feeling of my life. Edit, for everyone asking. It started as a grease fire. Edit 2, holy crap, this has blown up. For everyone wondering. It was inevitable. No, it wasn't water on a grease fire. Sadly, I know this feeling so well too. Even worse than losing my house, belongings, memories was losing my cat who was stuck inside. Tears me apart every time I think about it. Sending US hug. X. Oh my god, that is just horrific. I am so sorry for your loss. I really hope you are doing better now.